Don't touch that dial now. We're just getting started.
You know, I always loved video games. Video games has always been something that I truly loved. And this is probably going to be one of those videos where I'm not really going to include very much editing or anything. So it's going to be kind of off-kilter. Something that's probably bad, to be honest with you. I've always loved video games. It's always been an escape for me. PlayStation, Xbox. But in fact, PlayStation was one of my very first actual consoles that I fell in love with. Now, I had played video games when I was younger with the Super Nintendo, the NES, the Atari 2600, Sega, but I never loved video games until the PS1 really took me by storm. First big game I've ever finished that made me happy was Final Fantasy VII, all the way back in 1998. Resident Evil, Metal Gear Solid, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. There was some other games I was playing. Nightmare Creatures, Tomb Raider, Twisted Metal, stuff along those lines. Oh yeah, Siphon Filter. I was playing all these great games. And it continued for a very long time. And when the PlayStation 2 came out, I was asking for this for Christmas. Me and my brother and my parents, we wasn't very rich, but my parents put in the money. They got us two gifts. We got a bike that we shared together, and we got a PlayStation 2 that was under the tree wrapped up that we could both share, and we had one demo disc, no memory card, and was still using some of our PlayStation 1 games. I remember buying Medal of Honor Frontline for the very first time, Metal Gear Solid 2, GTA 3, so on and so on. Final Fantasy X, because I was in love with Final Fantasy up until after 10. Which I've kind of rekindled my love for that. Then the PlayStation 3 came out. This was when System Wars was actually pretty fun. You had a PS3, the Xbox 360, and the Nintendo Wii, all competing on different ways. Nintendo, it was fun and gimmicky with the motion controls. You had the Xbox 360, was mired with the red ring of death, but still brought in multiplayer to the mainstream. I mean, it was already there before, but the Xbox 360 kind of solidified multiplayer and online gaming for the most part. And the PlayStation 3, they had a rough start, but eventually they fixed their shit and came out with some of the greatest titles known to gaming. Uncharted, The Last of Us, Until Dawn. Wait, did it come out? No, that didn't come out on PlayStation 3, actually. I don't think. No, it was PS4, wasn't it? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my age is getting to me. But we had Resistance and Killzone. All these really great games that I truly loved. And, you know, I was in love with the PlayStation, the Xbox 360, even though I partaked in the console wars back then. I still had them. I still loved them. I still played them equally. And still today, I still play my PlayStation 5. Play my Xbox Series X and my Switch and all this shit. I look forward to every game that comes out that I'm actually interested in. Most first-party PlayStation games, outside for a few that I wasn't really interested in, like Astrobot, which, by the way, I did play Astrobot. I do think it's worthy of Game of the Year, and I actually wish that people would have bought it, myself included. So I might have to fix that one day. But lately, you've probably seen online that PlayStation and Xbox has not been doing too great. On one side, you'll see PlayStation is doing great in terms of console sales. But software sales paints a different picture. Same with Xbox. Xbox is not doing too great in the console market and hardware. Now reposition themselves as a third-party publisher, which, who really cares at this point? I don't. I still like Xbox. I love the ecosystem, have a great digital library, and I actually like the fact that I can play pretty much anywhere on my phone, my TV, my Xbox, my PC, my handheld, my Asus ROG Ally. It's kind of nice to have those options because Xbox is moving away from the hardware, which, by the way, that's not a bad, it's not a killer. I know a lot of people are all hung up about hardware sales, and I know Xbox is working on some type of hardware for the next generation. And some people say, why do they even bother? Yet, saying if there is no competition, then PlayStation and Nintendo will have free reign to turn the market to whatever they want. they always destroy their whole argument when they say Xbox is dead and why should Xbox compete or why should anybody buy an Xbox. People like Xbox. I want to buy it. I want to buy the next PlayStation. I'm going to buy the Switch too. I'm going to buy all these things because I like these things. I love gaming. I'm not tied to a fucking brand. I'm a gamer, not a brand ambassador, and I'm not going to gaslight you and tell you everything's all hunky-dory. I'm not going to spend $800 on a pro version of a console when the fact is the current console, the standard console, is not really being utilized to its fullest power due to the fact a lot of the games that are being released, especially in first party, are also going to the PlayStation 4. Just kind of let that sink in for a moment. Just think about it. Both consoles is out. We have the Xbox Series X and the Potato that can still play video games, by the way. Still plays video games. And the PlayStation 5 is, I think, 5 years into the generation. And we're still playing cross-platform games. And I mean by cross-platform, I mean going backwards. We have games coming out still on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Big hit titles. God of War Ragnarok being one of the biggest. The latest Horizon game. We can say, I think Spider-Man 2 did not go to the PS4. But it's one of a couple games that have not, that was first party, but has not, left the PS5. I can't even talk. Which sucks. I don't understand it. Like, the PlayStation came out with PSVR 2. Nobody bought it. Even though, if you hop on X, you get in an argument with these people. We'll go ahead and pull that up somewhere. We have this guy right here. This is Eyes on the Inside. Was basically talking about everything, about how PlayStation has some problems. They bring up this chart here. And this is kind of a new thing that I've seen. I haven't seen very many people talk about it. But he's showing a PlayStation versus Xbox console exclusives of 2020. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fair. But let's take a look at what's going on here. To be completely frank, a lot of these games, definitely remasters, and, even the ex-president of PlayStation said, hey, this current generation relies on remasters, so buy the remasters so we can make more games. Which that's exactly what's right here. We have a lot of games right here he's showing that are exclusives to the console. But negating the fact that a lot of these are also on the PS4 and PC, as well. If he takes a look at the VR titles that's here, and it's really small, I don't really expect you guys to look too far into it. But again, a lot of these games are already on PC. You can hop on Steam, even on Epic, as well as several other things, and you can buy PlayStation games on the PC. Returnal being one, Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding. Death Stranding came on Xbox. So on and so on. Most of the VR games, if not all of them, has also going to Steam or Meta, as well as the Xbox games that, they're also on PC. Now, you bring this stuff up whenever people say Xbox has no games. I don't know where they get that, because whenever they say that, you say, okay, well, Call of Duty, which, to be fair, Xbox bought Activision Blizzard, so, there's an outlier there. But let's go ahead and just forget the fact that exists. Xbox also bought Bethesda. They have licensing for Doom, Fallout, Avowed, and On Pentiment, and The Outer Worlds, and stuff like that. What else do they have? Skyrim. Elder Scrolls. These are all Xbox properties, especially with the ABK. You had things like Call of Duty, Tony Hawk, Spyro, Crash Bandicoot. My God, they need to bring those Transformers games back. Why hasn't that happened? Why haven't we seen that yet? But Xbox, aside from those, there's always had games. And I get this thing all the time. I see it's like Xbox has no games. Xbox is coming to PlayStation. Okay, well, Xbox didn't have any games, so what games are coming to PlayStation? Well, Xbox don't have games. Xbox are dead. What's coming to PlayStation if Xbox had no games? What games is coming to PlayStation if Xbox didn't have games in the first place? How can you get games from Xbox if they never existed? You never, ever, ever get the answer to that. It's always the same thing. A bunch of crows will get in any type of positive Xbox news and continuously say Xbox R is dead, or laughing emoji, some random, pretty much predictable gif of some dude laughing or some emoji. Xbox dead. That's the power of the Pro. That's the narrative. What fucking narrative do we actually... What do you mean by that? What do you mean by a narrative? Like, what is the narrative? Why are you making it seem like this is ungodly important? Why are you making this actually good for you as a PlayStation only player? I say this, I mean, you guys rag on everything from PC, Nintendo, and Xbox, but you never really buy your games. You never play your games. And we can actually prove that. There's been a lot of cases where we've been able to take a look at people's profiles and say, okay, you chat a lot about PlayStation, but here you are not playing the PlayStation games. And they're in the same type of situation where most platforms, the top played games are all live services games like Marvel Rivals, Fortnite, Call of Duty Warzone, so on and so forth. There's never really a PlayStation title on the top 10 list. Overwatch, World of Warcraft, is that still on there? World of Warcraft, League of Legends. Those are the most played games. Astrobot, which is a phenomenal game, which I still haven't got to play. I played the original tech demo that came out, and I'm actually thinking about buying Astrobot, which the studio that made that fucking great for you. You deserve a GOTY. That's great. The PlayStation guys keep on saying, hey, the Astrobot hurt the Xbox guys because of Game of the Year. No, that's didn't hurt anybody. People were glad that Astrobot got the Game of the Year award. You're the only ones making that assumption. I don't know why. Every time PlayStation farts, you guys think it hurts Xbox, which I don't understand because you guys didn't buy Astrobot. You haven't really bought any of your first party games. That's the reason why they have to double dip to put out the remasters. You guys haven't bought PlayStation VR or any of the games, and that's exactly why Sony doesn't really make any VR games anymore. That's why they push it to PC, so the PC guys are going to have a more affordable headset, but it's actually leagues better for most of the stuff that's out. That's one thing you can say about PlayStation more than any other company aside from PC and Nintendo. They make great hardware. It's always fun. Except for whenever they don't. And then we're talking about the PS5 Pro, which nobody can actually justify any of it. They just say, hey, it looks great on the Pro. I was like, okay. How's it look any different than the regular console? Who's going to be able to tell when most people can hold up two pictures of the same game and say, hey, spot the difference? Most people are not really going to give a fuck about that. So whenever you say a PlayStation Pro is the greatest console ever, which it's not, by the way, it might be the most powerful console, but it doesn't really matter because it's still not a PC, which, let's just face it, PC's better. We have all your games. We have pretty much everything, except for a small outlier, which they're probably pretty much coming at this point. But you also see a lot of people like X-Fault. We'll take a look at X-Fault here. His whole thing, and he actually has a short, I believe, of him buying a Xbox Series X, only for him to say, hey guys, I got this Xbox Series X. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I just spent the money just to make a short about it, but I don't know if I should keep it. Ooh, blah, blah. It's gay and stupid and dumb. I don't like it. Ooh. Pretty much it, except you're bald and you look like a fucking koala. Yes, I know I'm fat. That's cool. I'm fat. I'm a fat nerd. I know that's going to come. You're like, you're cringy and fat. Pretty much every time somebody comes at you, or a PlayStation guy, they just bring up a picture of one of the people making fun of them and try to gaslight people and say, hey guys, look at this fat fuck. He doesn't know what he's talking about, when I'm actually telling the truth. And plus, here's the thing. If you're a console fanboy, you do not have a channel based on truth. That does not exist if you're a fanboy. That is based on opinion. And opinions are very divisive, whether you say it or not. Again, you can gaslight and say how PlayStation's doing great, but the whole fucking industry is saying otherwise. You can even take a look on YouTube. How many actual videos, if you type in PlayStation Dead, these are not all Xbox creators, by the way. There's quite a bit of these people saying, hey, what happened to PlayStation? Here, you even have Meth Lord himself. Same thing. PlayStation Dead. PlayStation Dead. PlayStation Dead. It's not doing good. Okay? You can say PlayStation sales are great with the consoles, but nobody really gives a fuck about that when you're not buying the fucking games. Because if you did, there'll be more people playing Astrobot. There'll be more people playing some of those older games like Horizon Forbidden West. Even Shuhei got on Game Over Greggy. Is that what they used to call him? Game Over Greggy? It's kind of funny games now, but I remember when it was Game Over Greggy, I think. Basically saying, hey, we rely on these remasters so we can make you more games. Your studio, the whole company, decided to go on this games as a service push. They decided to go all in, kind of like how DC decided to go all in with the DC universe on film, where they see Marvel, which slowly built and made the MCU what it is today, which is probably not that great because it's got really stupid and redundant, not nearly as good as it was. But PlayStation went all in on games as a service. Who asked for a God of War live service game? Who asked for a Horizon MMO, a Spider-Man MMO? The Last of Us Factions would probably have been pretty cool, but that's not happening. Who asked for Concord? Why are we not putting PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo on check? Say, hey, we want good games. We don't want live service bullshit. We don't want DEI bullshit. We want good quality games. We're relying on third-party publishers to put the games on our systems that we want to play, or already established franchises that are losing sales every single year. We're losing players. The biggest thing to come from PlayStation this generation, which was pretty awesome because I love this game, was Helldivers 2. That's the most notable thing this generation I can think of. Spider-Man 2 was definitely underwhelming. I will go ahead and say it. It wasn't better than the first game. You can gaslight everybody and say it was. Demon Souls was pretty fucking great. Love that. But I don't see these people buying or playing the games. They just hop on X all day and jack each other off, talking about Xbox being dead, while Herman Hulse has his big blue veiny dick in her mouth while sitting at the fucking meat factory, riding the whole Smithfield meat factory. While calling Xbox guys meat riders, you guys are at the meat packaging plant, riding the whole fucking plant, and saying everything's okay when it's not. You have guys who are out there basically capping for what's the game? Team Kill or Kill Team? Is that what it was? And yes, I stutter a lot. Get used to it. What's their new game? Code Violet, which is an asset flip for UE5 that they said, hey, we're not going to bring it to PC. We're going to make it PlayStation exclusive. And you guys tripped over your own asses to be like, Xbox dead, this game, when knowing Quantum Error was the biggest piece of shit scam that's come to the PS5. There's a reason why it's not coming to PC or Xbox, because there's a refund policy. PlayStation's not very kind when it comes to refunds. But you guys will cap for anything that is positive or negative for your system. And you'll gaslight everybody and say, hey, everything's okay. While the Xbox guys are like, okay, yeah, our games are on PC now. Our games is going to PlayStation and Nintendo. Who gives a fuck? I'm sorry. I have a line flooded with console wars. And there is none worse than the PlayStation fan base. They are the worst when it comes to fanboying. They don't play games at all. They just grift all day talking about how Xbox is bad. You have some dude that says called Japan Hates Xbox, but doesn't even play games. He just gets on X all day saying Xbox is gay. I hate it. Shoot it. Put it down. Make it die. Shoot the fuck out of it. While meanwhile, PlayStation took one of the biggest, most expensive games ever created, Concord, took it out in the back and took a rail cannon and shot it down like Old Yeller. And it wasn't even subtle. It was one of the biggest mistakes ever in gaming. And you guys want us to brush it off? No, there's no brushing that off, okay? There's no brushing the fact that PlayStation went all in on games of a service titles and canceled 10 of them. They put Blue Point, the guys that made Shadow of the Colossus remake, Demon Souls remake, put them on a live service God of War game. PlayStation has some of the best games ever made. Some of the best experiences you could probably ever want. They have a legacy of great IP, but they're not utilizing because they're trying to make Horizon happen. And nobody fucking is excited for Horizon. Now, PlayStation's moving to more of this shit, doubling down on it. Not only that, they're moving to the whole TV, movie thing. It didn't work very well for Xbox. Hasn't really worked too well for outside of a couple actual good video game movies like Sonic and Pokemon and what else has come out. I liked Warcraft. Some people didn't like Warcraft. But you guys are gaslighting the whole community saying everything's fine? It's not. The whole industry is on fire. And you guys are too busy jerking each other off saying Xbox is dead while not playing your own games. While not buying your own games. So many people are losing their goddamn jobs because you want a console war. You don't want to pay attention to what's really going on with the industry. Declining sales on everything. Over budgeted games are getting so fucking expensive. We had articles where they're saying, hey, GTA needs to be $100. I'm sorry. It's not working that way. We have problems in this world due to inflation. People can't buy their groceries, buy, basic needs, food or medicine, gas in their car, all this stuff. And you guys want to raise the prices? And you want to say PlayStation is justified of putting out an $800 box? But it has no games? Seriously, there's nothing really taking advantage of it. You can say PSSR is so great. And who's taking advantage of that? Not very many people. PC has the best upscaler. Nintendo Switch is getting ready to have one of the best upscalers for AI. The PSSR so far is not that great. Does that mean it's not going to get better? Well, even Mark Cerny said, hey, it's going to get better and better and better. Maybe by PlayStation 6, when actual games might finally come out, that we can all play. My God, I hope so. I hope PlayStation comes back and gives us everything we wanted. Give us the old PlayStation back. Because everybody can see it. Everybody can look and be like, hey, this is not the PlayStation I love. You can look on YouTube. You can look on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. There's people out there that said, hey, what happened to PlayStation? People already walked away from what Xbox was doing. People still love Xbox as a brand. That's going to be around. It's not going anywhere. I don't know why you guys are so hell-bent on wanting Xbox to fail when you guys aren't even doing anything for your own platform. You might buy the hardware, but you're not playing the games. You're not buying the games. You're not. It's just not happening. 60 million, was it 65 million units for PS5? And nobody's buying Astrobot? You guys keep on saying Game of the Year, Game of the Year, Game of the Year. Then you're like, oh, Xbox brought out Indiana Jones, but don't worry, guys. Xbox says they have no games, but Xbox games come with the PS5 Pro and it's going to be better, but they don't have games for you to have. How can you play Xbox games if Xbox has no games to play? I don't know. I don't know. You're fucking lying. You're fucking lying about it. That's all you're doing. You're not being genuine. You're just being a liar. You're being a brand ambassador, not a gamer. Those things are not the same thing. You can get online all day and say how much you love sucking PlayStation's dick, doesn't mean it's not in trouble, because it is. The whole industry's in trouble. You need to take the dick out of your mouth and say, hey, I don't like this dick anymore. I want good game dick, not PlayStation shitty dick. I want good game dick from everybody. If you like dick. I don't know why I had to put that in there, but that's basically what I'm saying here. It's like, you should expect better from your platforms. If you love your brand so much, why are you not questioning them? Why are you saying everything's all right when it's all on fire? Why are you making videos saying the Xbox fanboys are salty? Which you guys are the only ones that's really saying that. Of course there's Xbox fanboys. Of course there's Nintendo fanboys. And they're all fucking toxic. But you hop on X, a vast majority is PlayStation fanboys. And they're all tripping for the latest Xbox news. So they can all hop in unison and say the same thing over and over and over and over again. Xbox games come to PlayStation Pro. Xbox Arb is dead. You're a bunch of fucking retards. Like level 11 retards. Not even like level 3 or 4. You're level max. Over max. Please. Have fun.